from PRX.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends beyond the binary, trees and multiforms, it's time for Sleep With Me. It's a podcast, and Whovians, I guess, too. It's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. It's time for the podcast that puts too much in his, too much, I don't know, but if this is a Who episode, I had to get that trees and multiforms in there. All my friends, everybody. Hope you all feel welcome. And that's it. Let's get on with the show. Sleep With Me podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this episode today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. All right, everybody, we're talking about tonight's sponsor, Quince. And I don't know how you like to spend your nights, but I got to ask you about your bedding and your sheets, right? How do you feel about them? Because Quince has options for you. They've got buttery soft sheets like the ones I got for my daughter to take to college. They have those crisp percale sheets. And now I'm looking at the hype of the Quince European linen. And I'm thinking, Scoots, it might be time to up your sheet game even more. Quince European linen sheets are light, breathable, and super soft with that perfectly lived-in vibe. Woven from 100% European flax linen, they have that heirloom quality that gets softer with each wash. And as I said, the same thing goes for their ultra-plush duvets, quilts, pillows, and shams too. Quince has everything you need to level up your bed. But I didn't even get to the best part. Just like Quince's clothing, their bedding is half the cost of similar brands. By partnering with top artisans, Quince cuts out the cost to the middle person and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. Now, like I said, I have the Quince Percale gingham bedding right now in my bed, but wow. This European flax linen really sounds nice for summertime. And I already, in my shopping cart on Quince, I have a black short sleeve linen shirt. So I might as well add the bedding to it. Let your bed match the season with cool, relaxed bedding from Quince. Go to quince.com/sleep to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince. QUINCE.com/sleep to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots looking for a specific group of regular listeners, not new listeners, not occasional listeners, not people just going through a tough time. Regular listeners whose Sleep With Me makes your life better. Have you been listening longer than 6 months? That means we got something special going on. You know, we got an intermediate length relationship, right? And the show has become a part of your life. And we built Sleep With Me Plus with that in mind, right? Regular listeners, people who have maybe thinking about a longer term relationship. Sleep With Me is month to month. Sleep With Me Plus is month to month. So you could always cancel at any time. You could even do a free trial, kind of like, the first date. Try it out for 6 days. If it doesn't work, cancel it. But Sleep With Me Plus exists so the show can be here. So if you're still listening 6 months from now, 1 year from now, the podcast will still be around. So if you're able to, and you're like, yeah, I've been listening for 8 months. Yeah, this podcast does make my life better. I think I could support it for another 3 months. And then if I stop listening, I'll cancel. If that rings true to you, support the show at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. But I do count on you, if you're listening and hearing me right now, not to wait and say, well, let me see in 6 months. Because right now, we're trying to make sure we can make the show for the next 6 months and make sure it's out here in the public in a free ad-supported feed, listener-supported feed for everybody to benefit. But it's only when people that really value it support it back. So please consider it. sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on this show. Who are they?
Posty poster song sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley can Danny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the mystery bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. And don't forget, the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me is with sleep phones. You can get Sleep With Me merch, Sleep With Me branded sleep phones at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep-phones, and use Sleep With Me at checkout to get $5 off your order. The only way you can get the Sleep With Me merch editions is sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep-phones. Thanks, everybody. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome to Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do as a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do my best to do the rest. I'm going to do the rest. All you need to do, or all you could choose to do, is, any of these, is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. What did I say that? Then I'm going to do, I tried to get witty in there. Well, first I got mixed up. I tried to cover up, all you need to get in bed, turn out, I'm going to do the rest. We do it with a bedtime story. I caught my own circular logic here. Like, holy cow. But sleep with me. Bedtime story to put you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. I'm seriously caught in a thought whirlpool, which is one of the things. So what I'm going to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. As I extricate myself from this, which will be a future metaphor. And the safe place is, one, I hope you feel welcome and like it feels like you've been invited, but you don't need an invitation. I don't know, if you know what that feels like. Sometimes, I imagine what it's like, and I've experienced it recently from a lot of other podcasters. They say, hey, come on over, have a seat, let's chit-chat. This is a safe place. That's kind of what it means. It's like, it's kind of like a skepticism bomb where you say, well, I don't know if this, is this, because I find myself highly skeptical in most situations, when I'm looking at skeptics, this is what I say, this is a joke, or this is the making, say, a skeptics convention, eh? Not really sure about that one. What do they do at a skeptics convention? Yeah, and that's, that's I'd be skeptical about that. But if they said, come if you like, a skeptics convention, come if you like, I'd say, well, that sounds like a low pressure. And then maybe later they said, see if you like, come by, and then later they rephrased it, see, just check it out, no pressure, see if you like our brand of skepticism. I think if they shortened it, I feel like I've done a whole episode, or maybe it was I guess it was a TV show. I'm seeing a scene in my mind that takes place at a skeptics convention. I can see it very clearly, as clearly as I'm going to see it. Anyway, let me get to the new listeners, and we'll come back to this, nonsense. So I'm going to send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and, related sleep issues, that I've been there, and I care, and I want to help you fall asleep, so it's a lot of nonsense to help you fall asleep. And if you're new, I guess what I was trying to say is if you're skeptical, I mean, clearly you've been listening for a few minutes. So you say, well, what is this dude talking about? This chap, you could maybe are using other words. I say, well, I'm just kind of talking friendly banter to keep you company, to take your mind off of the reason I use this friendly banter, that I like spend hours crafting it. Is that, you say, well, geez, let me think about that skeptics convention. I can see a scene like that too and I say, okay, well, let me see. Yeah. And it takes your mind off of, whatever's keeping you awake, whether it's, something physical, feelings, whatever it is, changes, routines. I'm here to help with that. But what was I going to say? I get mixed up too. But like, I'm not so interesting or, I don't really have anything. You see, well, I got the like Lego joke kit for Christmas, but it was like from, an eBay seller. So it just came with a bag of Legos. They said, construct your own jokes and, impress your friends with humor. I used to buy as a kid, like magic kits at like garage sales and in flea markets, and those never came with either all the parts or all the magic. So I never became a master of illusion or of like what the flourish is supposed to hide. I only learned the flourishing and like setting up a magic show, doing the magic pitch, come one, come all, to little Andy's magic show. We're starting, go ahead, get comfortable. And then I would do the setups and stuff and the flourishes. But I was the magician without any illusions. Again, that would probably be a subtitle for a future book. I'm not sure which one. How about that one? Maybe I could do some ghostwriting for like Copperfield or Magic Without Illusion. That does sound like somebody's autobiography, right? Maybe someone that became a philosopher after. Like, are Zen, are Zen masters really a thing, or is that just something people sell? Like, how, blankety blank. What about Criss Angel? Anybody know what Criss Angel's up to? Could we get Criss Angel? How did I end up talking about Criss Angel? But if we could get Criss Angel into some sort of a guru-like thing, I mean, we could say, you don't have to be a Zen master. That would just help with the book that I'm working on. It may not sell any copies. And I'm sure you get paid millions of dollars to do your tricks, whatever, illusions from the back of a motorcycle. But this is just an idea. Whatever it was, the magician without illusion. Anyway, let me get back to this. So if you're listening, you don't really need to listen to this podcast if you're new. That's the first thing that you probably figured out on your own. You can listen. I'm here. It's somewhere between inane chatter, ambient noise, and a friend that you kind of like chuckle at. You don't laugh at them or with them. You chuckle. You say, okay, what are you talking about, Chris? Are you going off about Criss Angel again? Well, no, this is a real thing. I say, well, come on, let's get your third act going, Chris. Or your fourth, whatever one you're on. I think, like, no offense, Chris, I think David Blaine might be too big for this. But you're my first call. So I guess I would have to pitch that another way. I did, my pitch kit didn't come with instructions, Chris. Sorry about that. I was supposed to say, I prefer you over David Blaine, but that's who my second call is. But I thought you'd be, better suited for these big plans. How do you feel about living on in a mountaintop retreat for about 10 years, Chris? No, very Spartan. No, not like a Spartan race. Like you would be sleeping on a cot. No, there won't be any motorcycles at this mountaintop retreat. It'll be gruel, and like an exploration of the heart and the mind and the body and all of those things. Okay, Criss Angel hung up on me, and the call was all being conducted from within my neurons, and I still get a disconnect. Anyway, if you're new, you don't need to listen to me. I'm here to help you fall asleep, to take your mind off of stuff, to keep you company. But there's also no pressure to fall asleep. I'm here as your bore friend, your bore bay, your companion in the deep dark night. To be at your side, to keep you company while you drift off at your leisure. Tonight we'll be talking about Doctor Who, Series 1, Season 1, whatever you call it, Episode 1, where we meet Rose, and we'll be covering that in a recap that'll have, you say, if you're a big Doctor Who fan, you could sleep right through it. Could just say, did Scoots watch that episode? And if you're not a Doctor Who fan, you say, Andrew McCartney was in, the first Doctor Who, Scoots. So, that's a little teaser for what we'll be talking about, in Mannequins. But what was I saying? So you don't really need to listen to me. You're under no pressure to fall asleep. I'll be here for about an hour. So just you drift off. Hopefully I'll be at your side as you float into the arms of Morpheus. Or, how about this? Criss Angel. What about changing? I know Criss Angel's your brand. But if you ever get tired of being Criss Angel, the brand, and if you're looking for someone to relate with Criss Angel, the person, well, first off, do you have another name? Because that would be good. We relate, if your name's Sammy something, I'd say, we could just keep it with Criss Angel, the brand. But what if you become Morpheus and we get another gig at another resort, and also we work on this guru plan? Otherwise I'll be doing my relating with David Blaine or any of these other magicians that are on my list. Also, I pestered Phoebe Judge for some magic tricks, who knows, Chris, or whoever, Morpheus. But anyway, if you're new, those are two things. You don't need to listen. You're under no pressure to fall asleep. I'll be here for about an hour. Usually I talk about the structure of the show, but that's to tell you that the intro is going to be about 12 minutes of me rambling and trying to create a metaphor for the podcast. But I think I did that. I think I almost had two other metaphors, like mental whirlpool and something else. But then once Criss Angel's people call, they say, please hold for Criss Angel. And I say right away, right, the brand or the human being? Because really I'm interested in just connecting with the human being, Criss Angel. The pure potentiality, the pure universal potentiality, actually, if you can get that, but you can't talk to that on a phone. Actually, was Chris listening to that? Because that's probably the best, that was the best sales pitch I could have done anyway. But here's the thing. This podcast is different. It's a little bit goofy, a little bit silly, not for everybody. Most people that listen, they become regular listeners. They say it took 2 or 3 or 11 tries for me to get the idea that there's, that there's kind of to get it by not, you get this podcast by not getting it. This is kind of shoulder, can't even pronounce a shoulder shrugging pot. You say, what's that Sleep With Me podcast about? And then you just chuckle and you shrug your shoulders. And they say, wow, you look great. You look, Chris, you look like the son of Criss Angel. You look so good. I don't know who's talking about your third act. You look like you just kicked your first act off. Hold on. It was Chris listening into that. Was Criss Angel? Did Criss Angel hear that? I was just doing a little pandering. Okay, no. Okay. I can't sit. My brain, once again, my brain started buffering right when I didn't need it to. So if you're new, welcome. This is kind of a demonstration of what this podcast is. After this, we'll talk about Doctor Who in a roundabout way about that episode and really point out some of the pleasurable things that were in that and the likability and all that kind of stuff. And maybe we'll cover some words and things like that. But what can I say? But I'm glad you're here. And I really work hard, and I really hope I can help you fall asleep. So thanks for coming by. Hey, it's Scoots. Before we get to the story here, I'm looking to get the attention of all night listeners, multiple episode a night listeners. So if you listen to 2 episodes a night, 3 episodes a night, 4 episodes a night, 5, 6, 7, 8 episodes a night. I really need you to listen to me and hear me right now and just ask you that question. Is that your listening style? And does that help you? Like, are you a regular listener? Have you been listening for a while? And is that valuable to you? To you, not to the other listeners, not to somebody else, but specifically to you. If you're listening and hearing me right now, you're probably the only person paying attention. A lot of other people tune me out, or they're so into their all-night listening, so used to it, that it makes it really hard to keep the show sustainable, because they have, for years, kind of gotten used to just tuning me out. And, or they've decided, hey, it's somebody else's business. But I think you're different because you're still listening and hearing me right now. So if you're an all-night listener and this show makes your life better, does it make your life incredibly better? And is that valuable to you? So valuable that right now, not tomorrow, not next week, not one day, you'll empower me to keep making this show that benefits you and other all-night listeners, and support it. sleepinmepodcast.com/plus. sleepinmepodcast.com/plus. That is designed with all-night listeners in mind. So when you get the bonus content set up, I suggest doing that tomorrow. You're going to find it so much smoother of a listen anyway. But please consider supporting the show because you're one of the 2 big groups of super listeners that without your support, the show really, the free version of the podcast can't exist without just getting 1 out of 10 all-night listeners to support the show. The show will be go on and on and on and on. If not 1 out of 10 listeners support it, that's 0 out of 10, right? You could be that 1 out of 10 people. I think it's 1 out of 100. No, 1 out of 10. We could use 1 out of 10. We could use you, right? So anyway, think about supporting the show, or don't think about it, I guess. You can always cancel during your free trial or cancel as soon as you stop listening all night long. But I'm not kidding with these messages for the all-night listeners and people who fall asleep fast. If it turns out that most of those people don't want to support the show, or the show is so effective that most all-night listeners and fall asleep fasters don't hear me, that's like the most mind-boggling thing. The show could cease to exist because it's so effective and to getting through to the people that benefit the most from the show. But I think I'm keeping trying. That's why I'm making these messages, and I'm a little bit hyper, because I know this podcast has positive impact. It has changed lives, and I know I can't do it without your support. Thanks. All right, so we're talking about season 1, or I don't know if, I think they sometimes call it series 1. Episode 1, at least in Doctor Who, and the episode is titled Rose. And I know this is you can get this as part of your Amazon Prime. It's a BBC production, so I don't know in the UK, and I'm not sure if it's available on Netflix. But it is a pretty accessible series. I'm sure your local library has copies as well. So that's like, and let me just say this up front. Holy cow, is this delightful. I just have been watching the second episode repeatedly for after watching this first episode, and whoa boy, this is definitely different than Star Trek The Next Generation, but it has a lot of things I love, which is great acting. Great interactions, particularly between the Doctor and Rose right now. And even though the Doctor's not exactly a human, front loading, I barely know anything about Doctor Who. So, but a lot of humanity. So really great. So it starts out, Rose, it starts out with, let's go through my notes first. The moon, Earth, there's a zoom to England. Oh, you know what? Let me start the episode playing too. And I'm back to my original setup, which is an old iPad, and I got my notebook, an old iPad with the transcripts, and then an old small Kindle thing running the episode. And we're rolling now. So it goes straight into the open. with the Doctor Who theme, which, I mean, who can't get, hello, can anybody can recommend a good cover of the Doctor Who theme? I wonder if Fish has ever covered that, or Humphreys or somebody like that. And it stars Christopher Eccleston is how I want to pronounce it, but it could be wrong, and Billy Piper as Rose. Let's see. 7:30 a.m. We see a stuffed animal, and Rose is off to work. I'm going to go through the dialogue next. Very good music in the background. A little bit good, but a little bit distracting. I think this was just the first episode. We see like Rose's trip to work, London department store. Hendrix is the name of it. We see Rose has lunch with her boyfriend, and they laugh. He does a little break dancing. We see some stop motion of the day in London and at the store. And then we get to the first just a scene where the store Rose is closing down the store. So let's see if any dialogue. I think she says later, Mom. Her mom's name is Jackie. I was wondering what square this was. Trafalgar Square. Trafalgar, probably what I'd say. Trafalgar Square. That might not even be correct either. And I'm pretty sure the only thing I know about Trafalgar Square, it's probably been there once. I've been to London only once. Lovely city, by the way. And is that I think that may have been a character in Ancient Art War at Sea, which was a video game I played as a youth. But maybe not. So Rose works in this nice high-end department store like Harrods or the other famous ones in London are. And she's about to leave work, and then the security guard's like, oh, you got to drop the lottery money off downstairs to Wilson. There's another random fish reference there. So Rose goes down to the storage areas. She's trying to find Wilson. And she's like, Wilson, I got to get out here. They're closing down. I need you to take the lottery money. Then she starts kind of hearing weird noises. This is a clothes storage, mannequin storage. This came out in 2005. But Rose is still looking. She kind of hears a couple other things. She looks at some of the, they call them, I think they may call them shop dummies in London. But she kind of looks, she goes in the room where all the shop dummies or the mannequins are stored. Then the door closes behind her. And I guess because this was 2005, this was back when Flash MOBs were a thing. And she gets in there, she says, is someone mucking about? And then these apparently students or something are trying to reenact the movie, like a new version of the movie Mannequin, which was an Andrew McCartney. I don't know if it was an Andrew McCartney vehicle. I don't even know. Andrew McCartney was in it, and Kim Cattrall, which she's from Sex and the City. It had a hit song from what is Starship, which no offense, I do like Jefferson Airplane, but it wasn't I think I heard that song too many times. I don't know. Let me see when did it came out in 1986. It looks like, and apparently the kids in London love this movie because I didn't remember it too much. I'd almost forgotten about it. But these kids in London are trying to do a street theater performance. So they're all dressed as mannequins, but Rose doesn't really know that. So she says, what in the heck, what's with all these mannequins? And they can't communicate through their costumes, so they're trying to get Rose to join their the dance routine, and so she feels like what the heck, kind of like the Thriller video. In some sense, she says, "Well, let me get out of here. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on." But then Rose is having trouble getting out of there, and then a hand grabs her and says, run, let's go. Let's run for it. Let's see, where are we in my notes here? Lunch with her boyfriend, they're laughing. Music stops, Wilson. Wilson's like, I didn't know his CEO office is like in the basement. I put WTF for that. There's a whistle, dark lights, great sound effects, I thought. Then the mannequin kids. I like to do some mucking about who is it. Rose was very calm at first because she even said, like, I don't want to be in your dance crew. And she says, very funny, I got the joke. And she says, Derek, is that you? Lots of rubber. Oh, there's a good rubber squatch sounds. Then the doctor takes her hand, they run. It's kind of like theme park level escape music. They get on the elevator. Doctor accidentally takes like one of the costume arms off the mannequin, and he hands it to Rose. And she says, "What are those students doing? Why'd you take the arm off of the outfit?" And the doctor says, "Why would they be students?" And she goes, "I don't know." And he goes, "Well, you said it." We get the first interactions between Doctor and Rose, which are really, I've already grown to love 2 episodes in. But she goes, that's what students do. They get dressed up and they're silly. And the doctor goes, well, they're not students. And she goes, Wilson. And he goes, oh, Wilson's out. He went to the big farm. And he lasers the elevator with this laser screwdriver. I know that I don't know the name of the screwdriver, but I'll remember it at some point. Oh, sonic screwdriver. That's what it is. And mind your eyes, he says as he uses it. Very good. I like when he says that. Beans on toast. That might be something we'll look up either tonight or tomorrow night. He says there's a relay on the roof. These aren't mannequins. They're manobots, mannequin bots. And this is the future of sales is they're going to there'll be mannequins and they're going to put you out of a job, Rose. And everybody, because it's low overhead. Also, they're not from Earth. They're from another area. And he goes, why don't you get out of here? So Rose scrambles out the store. She actually runs by the TARDIS, the police box. She's holding an arm. Then the store goes bye-bye. Then she runs into her mom's house or her house. Really good comedy here. Like she goes in, there's a pink pillow. I think she throws the arms on there. Oh, this is like the next day or something. Mom's watching the news, calling, trying to advocate for her daughter to get paid out. And, all her friends are like, is Rose okay? And Rose is having tea. Mom goes, she's aged. Her skin is like an old Bible. She goes, you think I was her daughter? Then Mickey Rose's boyfriend shows up, and he's, like, trying to check in with her. But he's like, let's go to the pub. She goes, why? He goes, well, to relax you. And she goes, oh, you sure it's not a match? And so we kind of see that he's not the most perfect boyfriend. And she goes, just go on without me. I'm just going to rest here. And she goes, by the way, throw this arm out from this mannequin, not from a manobot. And Mickey does some more comedy. He's real funny. He like waves with the arm, says bye-bye. And then Rose is watching the news. Then Mickey throws the arm in a bin, in a trash can. Boot's a trunk, a bin's a garbage can. I got to look up what beans on toast are, but then it's the next day, a little Groundhog's Day, 7:30 a.m. Rose gets ready to get up, and Mama goes, well, you don't have a job anymore. Been replaced by, well, the Manobots, we're going to replace you. Now there's no more store. And they kind of have breakfast, and she's like, maybe you could work for the butcher. And Rose is like, you got to be kidding me, Mom. Let's see. Noise, 7:29 a.m. again. Oh, yeah, TV noise, Mom's in the robe. Then there's a noise outside, and her cat door swings, and then it gets really good again. But yeah, you gotta listen to them. You're just worth it for the comedy. But the screws have fallen out of the cat door, and then the doctor's there looking at the cat door from the other side. He's like, "What are you doing here?" She goes, "This is where I live." And he goes, "What?" And she goes, thanks for getting rid of my job. And the doctor's like, well, I'm looking for a signal. He goes, are you a manobot? And she goes, no, I'm Rose. And I think he taps her head. He goes, no, he calls her a bonehead because her head, has a bone in it. And then he goes to leave, and then Rose goes, no, you got to tell me what's going on here. And the mom's like, who's this? Rose goes, oh, he's working for the insurance company. And the doctor goes, don't worry, millions. We're going to, she's going to be loaded. And then there's a funny interaction with the doctor and the mom. And just see the comedy, like, okay, I don't know if the doctor's deadpan, but he's really, really funny. And the doctor takes milk with this tea. And Rose goes, what are we going to do? And then the doctor kind of tells how he knows the future. He looks at like a Us Weekly or something. He reads a book instantly. So we get this a little bit of learning about the doctor really quick. Okay, doctor from the future probably can read really fast. And he says, Rose Tyler. Then he looks himself in the mirror, and it's the first time he's looking at himself. He goes, oh, not bad. He goes, I don't know about these ears, though. He shuffles cards really fast, and Rose goes, geez, come on, let's get our story straight. And she goes, explain everything. And then he hears a noise, and then the arm's back, and they have a little, the arm ends up being like, it wants to dance just by itself and teach them to dance, and it won't give them a choice not to. And that's like a big action scene and kind of hilarious. And the Rose ends up thought the doctor was dancing along with it first, but then, so it's kind of like a comic action, and the doctor gets to sneak in a lot of funny jokes, and Rose goes, if you don't tell me what's going on, I'm going to tell everybody. And doctor's like, is that supposed to sound tough? He goes, she goes, well, who are you? He goes, the doctor. She goes, doctor what? He goes, just the doctor. And she goes, to the doctor. He goes, yeah, hello. And she goes, is that supposed to be impressive? He goes, kind of. And she goes, well, who do you work for? He goes, well, I'm just passing through. This is not where I live. She goes, well, what's up with this? And she goes, what's this? These nanobots are messing up my, problems. He goes, the world doesn't revolve around you. And he goes, I was trying to deal with it, and we just happened to cross paths. And she goes, oh, well, you're saying the world revolves around you. And he goes, no. Well, kind of. This is all while they're walking. It's actually one shot for most of it. Somebody's walking backwards or being carted backwards with the camera. And Rose goes, well, who do you work with? He goes, nobody. He goes, well, who else would help me? He goes, all you humans do is watch TV and eat chips. He goes, there's a lot going on. And Rose, it says, start from the beginning. And he goes, like I said, these are nanobots. I'm trying to get rid of the signal. They're radio controlled. And Rose says, no, kind of thought controlled. And she goes, well, who's behind all this? And he goes, WAR, what's it good for? Absolutely some things for the people that benefit from them. And she goes, doctor, tell me who you are. She kind of stops. The doctor goes, and then he looks back. He goes, and this is a really powerful scene. He goes, you know how we were talking about the earth revolving? Like when you were a kid, you can't believe that the earth's turning or moving through space because everything's standing still. But he goes, I can feel it. And it's almost like not romantic, but really a moment. He takes her hand. He says, the turn of the earth, the ground beneath our feet, spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. The planet hurtling around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour. And I can feel it. We're falling through space, you and me, clinging to the skin of this tiny little world. And if we let go, and he lets go of her hand, he goes, well, that's who I am. He goes, now forget about it, Rose Tyler, go home. And then he walks off, and the doctor goes into the TARDIS, and Rose turns. Then she hears the sounds, and the wind picks up, and then the TARDIS is gone. And then she walks off again. Let's see if I have anything else. Now forget me, go home. He waves the arm when he says that. She watches him, walks off, good breeze, sound effects, looks back, runs, more sounds, but the TARDIS is gone. Then their music. Then her boyfriend, she's at her boyfriend's house. He has a number one shirt on that I liked, like a racing shirt. She's like, can I have it on your computer? Because, yeah, but don't look at anything. And it's like a 2005 computer, CRT. They use searchwise.net. I think Rose has a coffee or something. There's something about Dr. Renberg. She starts searching for Doctor Who. Then it comes up this, like, a flyer. Have you seen this man? And it's a picture of the doctor. And it says, give us an email or whatever. Give us a call. If you know, like, she's searching for plastic, Doctor Who. Just get a hold of Clive. So then Rose and Mickey are in this yellow Volkswagen Bug, actually. Number 45. Oh, no, that's the dude's son. She's like, don't worry about this dude. He's got a wife and kids. He's not, like, he's just like a internet theorist. And Mickey's like, well, I'll keep an eye on it. So then Rose goes to the door, and the kid, answers the door, like, he's number 45. She goes, is your dad here? I'm here to talk about Doctor Who. And the son goes, Dad, it's one of your nutters here. And Clive goes, oh, geez, wow, Rose, I'm Clive. And she goes, by the way, my boyfriend's waiting for me. He goes, oh, don't worry. He waves over at him. And then the wife comes. She's like, who is this? And he goes, oh, it's with the doctor. We're going to go to the shed. And she's like, a woman looking into the doctor? Yeah, then there's more exposition because Rose and the doctor, or Rose and Clive, like, he goes over, he goes, this is really sensitive. I couldn't email it. He's got this blue binder, and he goes, keep your mind open. This doctor's all over. He shows pictures of doctors throughout history. This doctor throughout history, always the doctor. And then he even says the title is seems to be passed from father to son. So it's not just it's a title and a job. And he goes, isn't this your doctor? She goes, yeah. Let's see. He's hanging with JFK, 1912 at the Titanic. He's in 1883 at like in a sketch at Krakatoa in Sumatra. And he goes, I think this doctor's like some sort of like a real metaphor or something. And, not the kind of metaphor you want, like a black cat crossing your path, if you know what I'm saying. Then we start switching back between Mickey and Rose and Clive, and we see that there's a trash bin moving towards Mickey, or moving around. Mickey investigates it. And then, switches back. Clive says, Rose, you'd probably avoid the doctor. Then Mickey, it's one of those robotic talking trash cans from the theme parks. And it says, Mickey, hop in, we'll go for a ride. So Mickey gets in and goes for a ride with the trash can. And Clive goes, well, why would the doctor make house calls? It's just strange, Rose. So then Mickey drives off with the trash can, apparently. And Rose says, geez, like, who do you think this doctor is anyway? He goes, I think he's immortal or an alien from another world. And then we have Rose get back in the bug with Mickey, but Mickey looks a little paler. And Rose goes, all right, he was a nutter, out of his mind, a complete conspiracy, online conspiracy dude. And Rose doesn't notice Mickey's kind of seems a little like, he is a manobot, and Rose goes, how about pizza? And Mickey goes, pizza. And then she goes, or Chinese. He goes, pizza. And then Mickey has trouble driving. Then they're at a restaurant talking about Rose getting jobs again. Rose kind of seems stuck. So it's even a little Rose exposition of like, well, what am I going to do with my life? And then she even talks about dropping out of school for Jimmy Stone. And then Mickey's like, where's the doctor? And Rose goes, I was talking. And he goes, when did this doctor start? Like the shop, right? And Rose goes, and then Mickey starts quizzing her, Robo Mickey. And then someone keeps trying to give them champagne. And then the third try, we realize, oh, it's the doctor. And then the doctor opens the champagne. Mickey catches the champagne cork and does a magic trick with it. And then Mickey's revealed as the Manobot and just starts to chase down Rose and the doctor to teach them dance moves for the Manobot flash mob. And they try to run. And the doctor tries to, she sees the sonic screwdriver, which we learned the term. Oh, sonic screwdriver, that's what this is, Rose. And he tries to get Rose to go in the TARDIS, a police box, but Rose is like, I'm not going to wait in a wooden box. Mickey's coming as a mannequin. And she tries to go somewhere else, and then she just runs in because there's no other option. As soon as she runs in, she runs back out. But then she has to run back in again. And she goes, Mickey's going to follow us in here. And Doctor says, the assembled hordes of Genghis Khan couldn't get through here. And believe me, they tried. Also, the doctor has taken, a bust of Mickey. Mickey also had a bust of Mickey. And he's I think that was like a pen, one of those things you put pennies in. And so he's hooking that up to the TARDIS. And he says, this is going to show us right where we need to go. What does this mean? Doctor takes his hat but does not stop. A good running action music in the lot with the box. Rose does the WTF when she goes out of the TARDIS. But he says, yeah, this will show us. I'll trace this back. And she goes, the inside's bigger than the outside. And the doctor goes, yeah. And Rose goes, this is an alien, right? And he goes, yeah. And she goes, are you an alien? He goes, yep. Is that okay? And Rose goes, yeah, I guess so. Then he explains this is TARDIS, TARDIS, time and relative dimension in space. And Rose kind of he goes, it's okay. It's culture shock. She goes, what about Mickey? Doctor's like, who's Mickey? She's like, my boyfriend, or the one you have the bust of that went plastic. And then Mickey's bust stops working. All the pennies spill out. Doctor's like, oh, boy, no. We're not going to get there. He goes out of TARDIS. Rose is like, what are you doing? Then they're on the banks of the Thames, London Eyes in the background. And the doctor's like, geez, I almost found it. I had the signal. Meanwhile, Rose is like, how do we get here? Does this fly? He goes, well, it disappears, reappears. So you're too above your pay grade. And then she goes, where's Mickey? He goes, he turned into pennies from heaven. And she goes, well, I'll have to talk to his mom about it. And the doctor's like, what do you mean? And she goes, Mickey, he's a human. He was a human, and then he was a Manobot. And they kind of have the doctor seems insensitive, I guess I would say. And she goes, I can't believe you forgot about Mickey. He goes, yeah, some kid named Mickey. What? She goes, he's not a kid. He's and the doctor's like, I'm not here to help everybody. I'm just here to help here to, so they go back and forth. Rose has had enough. And she goes, well, how come if you're an alien, you sound like you're from the north? And the doctor crushed it. He goes, lots of planets have a north. And then Rose goes, what the heck is this blue box, a public call box? He goes, oh, telephone box from the 1950s. It's a disguise. So you get a little a nod, wink and a nod. And Rose does that. And then Rose goes, okay, back to the story, actually. She goes, what's up with the plastic Manobots? What are they, what's the deal? And the doctor says, well, they want to take over they want to run your planet. Plenty of good stuff here. It's a nesting consciousness, and lost all its food stock during the, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. So it came to Earth. And Rose goes, well, can we stop it? He goes, oh, yeah, I got a tube of anti-plastic right here. Rose goes, anti-plastic? He goes, yeah, anti-plastic. He goes, but we got to find it. He goes, this is a small city. Where the heck is it? And she goes, what? He goes, well, it should be a giant transmitter to boost the signal. Rose goes, look, what does it look like? Dad goes, like a transmitter, round and massive, right in the middle of London. And Rose goes, like a big dish. She's like trying to get him to look at the London Eye. and he doesn't get it. He goes, like a wheel, like close to where we are, probably invisible. Rose is like, yeah. And then she looks at the eye. The doctor looks at the eye, turns back, he goes, what? Rose looks at the eye again, he looks at it again, he says, what do you want? What do you want? Rose just stares at the eye. The doctor looks back, looks again. Oh, okay. Like, so on a fourth look, I think. And he has a really funny look, really good. And then they start running. They go by the N59 bus, which I thought was cool. Then there's like, it must be somewhere underneath in the underground. Then they go and they're under the underground and they say, okay, this is where the nesting consciousness is. I got to give it a chance. And then they find Mickey, the real Mickey, who says, Jesus is talking liquid down there. So then the doctor tries to talk to the nesting consciousness. He goes, yeah, here to talk to you about from Convention 15 from the Shadow Proclamation. Rose, hangs with Mickey. And, the doctor goes, geez, that was a possibility. Rose goes, how come you didn't say anything? He goes, can you keep the domestics out of it? And he goes, yeah, what are you doing here? He tells the consciousness that it's shunted in and it should shunt off. And the plastic doesn't like that. And he goes, you're not supposed to be here, plain and simple. I don't want to hear about constitutional rights. And the plastic starts to talk back. The doctor goes, I'm talking. The plan is just starting out. Leave it alone. Then two mannequins get a dance going with the doctor and take his anti-plastic. And the doctor goes, that was insurance. Then they have the TARDIS. So it looks like he's like, no, that's my ship. Then we see more deeper, like kind of almost like a long-term world-building story. He goes, yeah, that's my ship. He goes, yeah, I was there at the what is it good for? But it wasn't my fault. I couldn't save everything. And the doctor goes, this is not good. It's going to, with this technology, it's probably a problem. Rose calls her mom, checks in and says, hey, Mom, keep an eye on, keep it on the lowdown. And the mom's like, you're going to be doing some late night shopping at Queen's Arcade, where Clive and his family just happen to be shopping. And then the consciousness through the London Eye sends it out. All the mannequins or the shop dummies start their flash MOB dancing. But it gets in everybody's way and it makes a big mess. So even Clive was like, what the heck? And it kind of creates chaos. Then Rose, the doctor's like, hey, Rose, you and Mickey hit the road. I'll take care of this. Then they try to get into the TARDIS, Rose and Mickey, but it's locked up. Mickey's like really worried. Rose is a little bit more together. Let's see. Yeah. So in this, we see Rose's mom. There's a lot of dancing and people saying you can't dance in the streets. And they say, down home Chicago, down to New Orleans, we are everywhere around the world. We're dancing as mannequins in the streets. And then Rose is like, you know what? I'm a heroine, yo. And, then her mom's dancing with wedding dummies dressed as brides. Mickey's like, Rose, don't be a heroine. And, let's see. I forgot to mention the brides have bangs. The doctor kind of does look at Rose for help. Mickey says, leave it alone. Then Rose goes into action. She goes, I got the bronze at junior high gymnastics. And she swings on this chain and over the nesting consciousness, takes out the dancers that were flanking the doctor. The anti-plastic goes into the nesting consciousness, deplastifies it, and that shuts down the signal, shuts down all the dancing. Flash mob comes to a close, and they all jump in the TARDIS with Mickey, and they go out. And we kind of see the chaos ends, all the dancing ends. They get out of the TARDIS, and Mickey like kind of runs off from the TARDIS and curls up in a ball. Rose gets out, calls her mom. Mom says, "Hey, Rose, everything's weird, but just stay home. I'll be home in a minute." And Rose laughs and hangs up. And she says, "Mickey, why didn't you help at all?" Mickey kind of goes meow, 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 like a puppy. And the doctor goes, "Man, that nesting consciousness, we did it like easy, like Sunday morning." He clicks his fingers. And Rose goes, "Yeah, for me, it was easy for me." She goes, "I'm the heroine." And he goes, "You're right. Thank you very much." She goes, "Well, I'm off, unless you want to come." And let's see, Mom with robot twins. And, oh, yeah, Rose is like, geez, I'm not so sure about that. But she does seem like, she's like, "Well, thank you." He goes, "This isn't just a hop around London. It goes anywhere in the universe." And Mickey goes, "Don't do it, Rose. He's not a human." And the doctor goes, "By the way, Mickey's not invited." He goes, "You can hang out here and eat and have a job and stuff, or you could go anywhere." And Rose goes, are the journeys filled with uncertainty? And the doctor goes, "Oh, yeah." And Mickey tries to hold Rose back. And Rose says, "Well, geez, I got to help my mom and this lump." And she kind of pats Mickey on the back, and the doctor goes, "Okay." And Rose kind of looks after the doctor, and he looks after her. I mean, like, they're like almost like a forlorn look, like maybe these ships shouldn't pass in the night, but they're about to pass one another. And he gets on the TARDIS, revs it up, and it disappears. And we have the sound effects and the wind and everything. And then Rose goes, "All right, Mickey, let's get out of here." She's kind of staring after the TARDIS, and then Mickey's kind of shocked. And Rose goes, "Okay, let's go." But in the TARDIS, you hear it coming back, the sound effects coming back, the scraping kind of sounds. And this is just a high point. Doctor goes, "By the way, did I mention that we also time travel?" And Rose goes, "What?" And he smiles. Rose says, "Thanks, Mickey." And he goes, "For what?" And she goes, "Yeah, right, yeah, exactly." And then she kisses him, and she jumps into the TARDIS with this big smile on her face. And I put "it is on" because it's just like a really high end. And the episode closed. Okay, but according to Cambridge Dictionary, let's look some stuff up. A shunt is a verb, according to Oxford or Cambridge Dictionary, to move someone or something to the side or away. You can't just shunt your problems aside. According to Wikipedia, there is a Queen's Arcade in London, so it is a real thing. Oh, wait, this one says it's in Cardiff, though. I definitely searched for Queen's Arcade in London, but that makes sense because I think they filmed it, so there's a Queen's Arcade in Cardiff where Doctor Who's produced, near the Cardiff Central Market. So shout out to Cardiff. It's celebrated its 20th anniversary in 2014. So when they're filming it, it was on its 10th anniversary, probably. So I don't know. I know we have some Cardiff listeners, so I don't know if anybody shops there or has, and how their mannequins are. There is an N59 bus. It goes Mill Hill, Golders Green, Baker Street, Hendon, West Hempstead, Oxford Circus. This is like, that might not be, let me see if I can find what stops it makes. 59 bus route. It stops at Telford Ave, Christchurch, Holmwood, New Park, Jeb Ave, Blenheim Gardens, Rush Common, Lambeth, Brixton Station, Brixton Road, a lot of other stops, Waterloo Bridge, Waterloo Station. So this one's good for this might be good for touring. Euston Station, St. Pancras Station, King's Cross. So you could really hit it all. Take the N50. Next time you're in London, take the N59. I think N just means the night schedule, but I'm not sure about that. I wrote down Whittle on the right, but it doesn't look like there's any. I must have been mistaken when I wrote that one. Slap bang is the same as smack dab. Slap bang is an informal British adverb meaning suddenly, but in a very sudden manner, and usually noisy. So I guess smack dab is different, directly or immediately. That would be smack dab. So that makes sense. But that's a good one. You could use slap bang or smack dab, or, you could just mix them all up like I do normally. Okay, this is a little bit about Shadow Proclamation. I'm sure we'll talk more, but this is from the TARDIS Data Core at tardis.wikia.com. Shadow Proclamation was, according to the 10th Doctor in Outer Space Police, about upholding galactic law, although their broader jurisdiction might have been to declare WAR across the universe in response to the theft of 27 planets. The Doctor called miscreants to account for themselves according to its dictates. He would also sometimes transfer people he encountered on their travels over them. The Shadow Proclamation was situated on 3 asteroids linked together by bridges from which they planned their moves. And let's see, which one did we deal with? Shadow Convention 15. It dealt with the cessation of hostile actions in order to parlay. And then beans on toast, that's something us in America, I guess, are ignorant about. This is from Serious Eats, British-style beans on toast by Sydney Oland. In this article, I don't see a date on it. But it's dry navy beans, vegetable oil, onions, garlic, brown sugar, molasses, Worcestershire sauce. So maybe I could get a date out of this. Apple cider vinegar, tomato paste, bay leaves, tomato puree, chicken broth, and bread. So you make the beans in with all that stuff. You cook it about 5 hours. And then top the bread. So I think I will try to make this. I'm going to make it in my, I'll make it in a pressure cooker though, maybe. But, so I guess it could be something we could talk about with our English listeners, the beans on toast. That sounds like for a good breakfast, a way to eat beans for breakfast. Or I don't know if it's a snack or lunch. I'm not kidding. I guess I'm ignorant. But it sounds smooth as it came up in this episode. So that's it. Good night to the Doctor. Good night to Rose, Mickey. Good riddance for now. But you're very humorous and a good dancer. So maybe we'll see you again. And rest well. Thanks. Everybody, this is Scoots with a tuck you in message. So if you're still hearing me and listening to me, I hope this show is a part of your life, and it brings you comfort, even when it can't help you fall asleep, or maybe most nights it keeps you company, helps you fall asleep, distracts you, your boyfriend, And if the show does make your life better, makes your life a little bit easier, even in the depths of the night, like right now when we're just hanging out and plenty of episodes ready to go, I hope you'll consider supporting the show back. Sleep With Me Plus is how we're able to be here night after night after night. And the listeners who support the show at any level for any amount of time, the show is a regular part of your life. And you could do that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. And if you're chilling with me now today, why not try it out right now? You could try a 7-day trial, get all the bonus content set up tomorrow, see what you think, take 5-6 days. if it isn't the best way you've listened to the show, there's like an entire podcast full of ad-free full episodes. There's an entire podcast full of story-only episodes. Those also don't have ads. And then there's a bonus podcast full of really, really cool stuff. And if you're a Boar friend or a Boar best, you also get a podcast full of all-night episodes and all intro episodes. So please think about it. If you say, no, I can't support the show right now, I could still use your vote yes to keep making the show. Because just moving on from this message, if you're listening to me and you're saying, no, I'm not going to do anything, that's a no for me to keep making the show. And that's just a reality. The show is at a point right now where without the support of the listeners, we can't keep going. So if you can't support the show financially, you have two options. If you still want to be a part of something, you want access to ad-free episodes, you want the show to be here next year, the year after that, join the referral program at sleepinmepodcast.com/refer and refer people to the free podcast. You'll get rewarded for it. Their lives will be better because you'll be helping them out. And it'll be a huge, huge boost to the show. It's way better to support the show through the referral program than telling me, yeah, one day Scoots will support the podcast financially, but now right now it just doesn't work. I'd rather you support the show right now through the referral program so we can keep making the show. So please consider that. Or just decide you're not going to support the show and fill out the form. You say, no, I'm not. I want you to keep making the show. Yes. I am a super listener. Yes. But I don't want to support the show financially. And I don't want to do any, like, help out via the referral program. I don't want to help out, but I do want you to keep making it. And I have a good reason for it. You probably have a good reason for it. Fill out the form at sleepinmepodcast.com/no thank you. Because if we get 1,500 people in the referral program and then 1,500 people or something that say, nah, I want you to keep making it, but I'm not going to support it. It says to me that I should find a way to keep making this free podcast, even if it's going to be tough, because there's people willing to spread the word about the show, and there's people who are willing to say, yes, keep making it. I'm not going to support it, but keep making it. It's important enough for me. It's important enough to me that I took the time to make a choice and say, no, I'm not going to support it, which is 1,000 times more powerful than just tuning me out or ignoring me, or saying, yeah, I'll help the podcast one day, or I'll say no one day. That day may never, Sleep With Me might not make it to that day without one of those three actions. If you take one of those three actions, you could have full confidence. Not only are you a super listener, but you're a super listener that's invested your time back into the podcast and makes your life better. Thanks. And now we got the audio news, which we haven't done in a while. So this is what we got coming out on Sleepin' Me Plus. A lot of this stuff will be coming out in the ad-supported feed as well. 1357 was a balcony brick building episode as part of the Orlando Park Stop fundraiser for the Trevor Project. Then we had Ray covering Horizons, the extinct Epcot attraction. That was also in as part of the Orlando Park Stop fundraiser. Let's see. We had a repeat of a classic episode, Hamlet with Brainbots. That's a really good one. Where I got out of the house. Great British Bake Off 6, Japanese Week. Then Bernie returns to the show after a long absence, even for a recording he never showed up to. And he does his reinterpretation of the story I told. So you could either sleep through it or wonder what Bernie's version is. That's Cat on Yarn. Then a classic TNG episode, Fistful of Datas, or Datas, you know. Then Bessos 11, Big Farm in the Sky, Bessos 11. Then something 2, I can't read my handwriting. Friend 2? No, Fox 2? Huh, interesting. An episode. Oh, Frankie and Victor, part 2. Then Jenny, the new username generator, one of my favorite episodes I've ever done. And then a 4th of July all intro episode. That's what we got coming up. But we're also deep into subscriber summer. So if you listen at Sleepin' Me Plus, if you're a Sleepin' Me Plus subscriber and you're listening to this, if you ever need any help at all, just send an email to our support team, support@supercast.com. But also all those episodes are going to be in the ad-free full episode feed and the story-only feed. So all those are going to be coming out. What else we got? So if you're a Boar friend or a Boar bestie, you have the All Intro All Night feed. There's an All Intro that comes out on June 5th. June 12th, the All Night Boredom Institute episode. And they're called All Nights, but they're around 4 hours long just because of the file sizes. We can't make them any longer than that. And then an All Intro episode comes out after that. And then in the bonus feed, Subscriber Summer is in effect. So in the bonus feed, we got Posty 189 came out June 11th. June 11th, first Subscriber Summer episode, I think, comes out. Archie McPhee catalog. I think I read through 3 different Archie McPhee catalogs. Then Posty 190. Then Ray on a Balcony in Anaheim. Holy cow, I can't wait for that. Right, Ray? And then either Frank episode 12 or episode 14, depending on which level you support the show at. So a lot of great stuff. If you support the show on Sleepin' Me Plus and you're hearing this, thank you so much. Could not do it without you. Remember, you could always get a hold of support at supercast.com. Make sure you are either on our Discord or subscribe to the Sleepin' Me Plus newsletter. You've gotten we've been sending out emails about it. And yeah, you can always reach out to me anytime through the contact form on our website. Anybody can. Can't do without all of you. I'm happy to be here to put you to sleep. And thanks so much for listening, and good night.